The Academy auditorium was huge. It floated above a blue gas giant, its windows showing storms swirling far below. Hundreds of cadets from different species filled the room. Their uniforms were neat, their eyes alert. Most of them had never met a human cadet before. Humans were rare in the Alliance Academy, and even rarer in this part of the galaxy. Ethan Cole sat quietly in the middle row. He kept his hands folded on his lap, watching the stage. The hum of the life support systems and the soft whispers of cadets filled the room. Something in the air made him uneasy, though he did not yet know why. A sharp voice cut through the murmurs. "Attention, cadets," said Admiral Korath, stepping onto the stage. He was tall, with scales that shimmered slightly in the dim light. His eyes scanned the crowd with careful precision. "Today, we will study a special case. A battle that tested everything we know about strategy and survival." The lights dimmed. A large screen descended from the ceiling, and a flicker of static appeared. Then, the image cleared. A frontier colony flashed on the screen, burning under a storm of enemy fire. Draction ships moved like dark shadows in the sky. Explosions lit the city in bursts of orange and red. Civilians ran in panic. Soldiers scrambled to protect them. But the enemy was fast and brutal. The cadets leaned forward. Ethan's stomach tightened. He knew this place, or at least, he had been there once. A figure appeared on the screen. A soldier in heavy armor moved with astonishing speed. Bullets and plasma bolts flew past, but the figure did not falter. He pulled wounded civilians from burning buildings, held collapsing doors, and used debris as shields. Every movement was precise and fearless. The camera shook as the battle raged, but the figure stayed in the middle of the chaos, never retreating. The cadets whispered among themselves. A reptilian cadet hissed, "He is suicidal." An insectoid cadet clicked, confused. This being should not survive. Ethan shifted in his seat. The way the soldier moved felt strange, familiar. He tried to look away, but his eyes kept returning to the screen. Admiral Korath paused the footage. "Notice this operative," he said. This being did not follow standard tactical doctrine. Instead of retreating, he chose to hold his position to protect civilians and fellow soldiers. "Tell me, cadets, what would you have done?" A green-skinned cadet raised a clawed hand. "I would have followed the manual. Retreat, regroup, then counterattack." A small, furry cadet shook his head. "No. He is brave. He risks everything to save others. That is remarkable." Admiral Korath's gaze swept the room. He let the silence hang for a moment before continuing. "Do you realize that this operative acted alone? He improvised tactics we have never taught in this academy. He faced extreme danger and survived as long as he could." The footage returned to action. The armored figure ran across a crumbling plaza. A massive blast erupted behind him, sending debris flying. He shielded civilians with his body, dragging them to safety. The heat from the explosion warped the air, and his armor glowed red. Still, he did not stop. The cadets' eyes widened. Some leaned forward, gripping their chairs. Others whispered nervously. No one spoke out of order, because even the most confident cadet felt the weight of what they were seeing. The instructor zoomed in on the figure's face. The helmet visor cracked under fire, but it was just enough to reveal a blurry human face. Cadets gasped. No one had expected a human to be so relentless. Ethan felt his heart beat faster. The face on the screen looked like him. His chest tightened. He looked down, pretending to adjust his uniform. He could feel eyes flicking toward him, though he knew no one could yet make the connection. The footage continued. The operative charged at a Draction-heavy unit. The creature was huge, armored, and far stronger than a normal soldier. Still, the human did not hesitate. He drew the enemy fire away from fleeing civilians, buying them seconds to escape. A close-up showed the operative straining, his armor failing, his body pushed to the limit. A few cadets whispered nervously. "He will die," said one. "No one can survive that." The instructor paused the footage again. "Consider the choice he made," said Admiral Korath. "According to our doctrine, he should have retreated, yet he stayed. Why?" The room was silent. Cadets thought hard. Some hesitated, afraid to speak. Others murmured their thoughts. Reckless, heroic, inefficient, irrational. Ethan clenched his fists under the desk. He wanted to speak, to explain, but he could not. No one knew the full story. Not yet. The footage returned one last time. The operative stood against another heavy blast, shielding civilians behind a damaged transport ramp. Heat warnings flashed on the screen. His body moved beyond what any Alliance soldier could endure. Then, the footage cut abruptly. A bright white flash ended the recording. Silence fell over the room. The cadets were frozen. Some stared at the screen in awe. Others whispered urgently, "Was he even alive? How did he survive? He is not like us." Admiral Korath turned to the cadets. "This operative's actions have changed the way we think about strategy. I want you all to consider what it means to protect others, even at great personal risk. Remember that heroism is not always clean or calculated. Sometimes it is desperate. Sometimes it is human." Ethan shifted again. The word human struck him. He tried to look away, but his mind kept replaying the memory of that day. The city, the fire, the screams, the choices he had made, choices that had almost killed him. A faint buzz sounded from the side of the stage. A junior officer stepped forward and whispered to Admiral Korath. The admiral nodded, his expression unreadable. "Cadet Ethan Cole," Korath called. His voice echoed through the room. Whispers ran through the cadets. Ethan froze. He tried to remain calm. Everyone in the auditorium had seen him watch the footage. Some had noticed the flicker of recognition in his eyes. Some had already begun connecting the dots. As the room emptied, cadets turned to glance at him. Some whispered. Some stared openly. Ethan walked slowly down the aisle, feeling the weight of many eyes on him. He kept his head high, but his mind raced. Outside the auditorium, the sun of the gas giant reflected in the windows. Ships and satellites moved in orbit. Ethan's thoughts were far away. Back on the colony he had barely survived. The memory of smoke, heat, and screams filled him again. He tried to push it down. He had survived that battle, but now he could not escape it. Not in front of the academy. Maya Green, a human-friendly cadet, caught up with him. Ethan looked at her, then away. "Yes," he whispered. "But you don't understand. It wasn't supposed to be seen. I didn't survive by luck alone. I had to do things I wish I hadn't." Maya nodded, understanding. She had heard stories about humans from Earth, about their willingness to face impossible odds. But seeing it, knowing one of them had been a cadet here all along, was different. "It's incredible," she said. "You saved lives when no one else would." Ethan shook his head. "I just did what I had to. If I didn't, others would have died. That's all. Don't make it more than it was." Other cadets began to gather outside, curious now. An analytical alien named Vale clicked quietly. "I want to understand," he said, eyes scanning Ethan. "How does one being carry so much risk and still survive?" Ethan felt the pressure of many gazes. He knew the Academy had not seen anything like this before. The humans were rare. A human who survived impossible odds was rarer still. Admiral Korath motioned for Ethan to follow him to a side chamber. "Come," he said. "We need to discuss your role." Ethan walked, feeling the weight of the room, the whispers, and the silent awe of those who had just witnessed the footage. The memory of the battle still burned in his mind. But now, a new challenge awaited. How to explain what he had done, and why he had done it, to an audience that did not fully understand what it meant to be human. The doors closed behind him. Outside, the cadets remained in quiet amazement. The screen still glowed faintly, frozen on the last frame of the human operative standing against impossible odds. The room had held its breath, and now, they all waited to see what would come next. The side chamber was quiet and small compared to the huge auditorium. The walls were metal, cold to the touch. Admiral Korath motioned for Ethan to sit. Commander Alira, an avian officer with sharp eyes and golden feathers, stood beside him. Cadet Cole, Korath began, his voice calm but serious. You have been identified in classified footage. The Council and the Academy want to know exactly what happened on that colony. Ethan swallowed. He had expected this, but hearing the words made his chest tighten. He looked down at his hands, folded tightly in his lap. He began, then paused. He searched for the right words. Yes, that was me. I was there. Alira tilted her head, her eyes curious. Why were you there? The footage shows you acting alone, taking huge risks. You were beyond any protocol we teach. Ethan took a deep breath. I volunteered, he said. The colony was in trouble. The Alliance forces were stretched thin. Civilians were trapped. I knew the chances were small, but someone had to act. No one else could reach them in time. Korath leaned forward. So you ignored standard orders? You left your unit? Ethan nodded. I did what I had to. If I stayed with the main force, everyone trapped on the colony would have died. I knew I could not survive long, but it was the only way to save them. Alira clicked softly. Your species, humans, are known for resilience. But even so, your actions were extraordinary. Most humans would not do this. Most would retreat. I don't know, Ethan said quietly. I was trained for situations like this. We call it survival on death worlds. We learn to adapt, to take risks others won't. That doesn't make it easy. It doesn't make it safe. I expected to die. Korath's scales shimmered under the lights. Your survival is remarkable. It has caused division among the Council. Some see humans as unpredictable and dangerous. Others see you as proof that your species is invaluable in crises. Ethan looked up. I didn't think about that. I only thought about saving people. Alira tilted her head. That is human logic. Alliance species usually consider strategy first, survival second. You put lives above your own. That is unusual. Korath nodded. It is. And it has caught the attention of the Academy. You will remain here, but your every action will be observed. You are no longer just a cadet. You are a symbol, whether you like it or not. Ethan felt a chill. A symbol? He repeated. I don't want to be a symbol. I just want to learn. To train like any other cadet. Korath's eyes softened. I understand, Cadet. But the Council may not see it the same way. Your choices, your survival, and your courage make you a figure others will follow or fear. You must be prepared for that. Ethan exhaled slowly. I understand. Alira stepped closer. Do you remember the battle in detail? She asked. Every choice? Every risk? Ethan nodded. Yes. I remember everything. The transport ramp that collapsed, the civilians hiding in the rubble, the Draxian heavy unit blocking the escape. I remember running out of ammo, using debris for cover, improvising every move. If I had followed standard procedure, everyone would have died. Korath made a sound of agreement. Your improvisation was beyond anything recorded. Alliance strategy manuals do not cover such extreme decisions. Yet you succeeded. Alira's feathers ruffled slightly. Do you still have injuries from that battle? Ethan lifted his sleeve. There were faint scars and burns across his forearm. Some Alliance medical teams treated me, but my body took damage no machine could fully repair. It still hurts sometimes. I learned a lot about my limits that day. Korath nodded slowly. That is part of what makes humans so valuable. You endure beyond what is normal, think beyond doctrine, and improvise when the impossible appears. It is why the council is divided. Some fear this. Others see potential. Ethan stayed quiet, thinking about the other humans he had fought with that day. He remembered the fear, the screaming, the desperation. Yet, above all, he remembered one clear truth. He had done what was necessary. He had saved lives, even if the cost had been almost everything. Alira clicked softly. Now that you are here, Cadet, the Council may try to use you as a tool, to show humans as heroes or to control you. You must be aware of this. The footage has spread. Many worlds have seen your actions. Ethan frowned. They can't. They can't force me to be something I'm not. I was just trying to survive. To save people. Korath studied him for a moment. Survival alone is not enough in this galaxy. But understanding that, and choosing courage anyway, that is rare. That is what makes humans stand out. But the Council will test you. Be ready. Ethan nodded slowly, absorbing the weight of the conversation. Alira clicked her beak. There is another matter. The frontier colonies are aware of your actions. They have requested human assistance in several crises. The Council is considering these requests seriously. But it is not guaranteed. Some species refuse to risk their fleets for others. They look at humans differently now. All about. Ethan's stomach tightened. So, they might leave people to die, while humans step in? Korath's scales shimmered darker. That is one possibility. Another is that humans will show the Council and the galaxy what it truly means to fight for life when others hesitate. You may have to face that sooner than you think. Ethan swallowed hard. The thought made his heart race. He had survived once. Barely. Could he do it again? On an even larger scale? Could he inspire others to stand with him? Not behind him, when the stakes were so high? Alira's sharp eyes softened slightly. Do not underestimate yourself, Cadet. The galaxy does not yet know the full potential of your kind. Humans are resilient, creative, and fearless. Sometimes recklessly so. That recklessness can change the outcome when all else fails. Ethan clenched his fists. I want to train. I want to be ready. I don't want to be used. Korath leaned back in his chair. Then train, Cadet. Learn everything you can. And remember this. When the galaxy turns its back, humans do not. That is why the Council will watch you. That is why the Academy will watch you. You are different. Accept it. Ethan nodded. He felt the weight of responsibility settle on him. It was heavy, but familiar. He had faced impossible situations before, and he had survived. Now, he had to survive again, not just physically, but politically and socially, in a galaxy that did not fully understand humans. Alira tilted her head. One more thing, she said. You will not face these challenges alone. A small group of cadets will be assigned to you. Some human-friendly, some from other species. They will learn from you. They will observe how humans survive in extreme conditions. Your actions will teach the next generation of cadets. Ever. Ethan blinked. So, I am a teacher now. Korath's eyes softened. Not a teacher. A guide. You have experience others lack. Your improvisation. Your courage. Your willingness to act when others hesitate. These are lessons in themselves. Your squad will watch and learn. And maybe, they will stand with you when the real crises arrive. Ethan felt a mix of fear and determination. He remembered the colony, the civilians, the chaos. He remembered the white flash of the explosion and the way he had crawled through rubble, pushing through pain. He remembered thinking he might die. "I understand," he said finally. "I will do my best." Alira nodded. "Good. Now, you will return to your quarters. A team will meet you tomorrow to begin training exercises. You will explain your approach to them, and they will observe. The council will monitor your progress." Ethan stood. The chamber felt small, but the responsibility felt enormous. He followed Korath and Alira to the exit. The hall outside the chamber was empty, quiet, except for the soft hum of the station. As they walked, Maya Green appeared, her eyes bright. "Ethan, everyone is talking about you. Is it true? Were you really the one in the footage?" Ethan stopped and looked at her. He nodded slowly. "Yes, that was me." Maya's eyes widened. "Incredible. I can't believe it. You saved lives that day. Do you know how many people you saved?" Ethan shook his head. "I don't know. I wasn't counting. I just did what I had to do. That's all." Maya smiled softly. "Well, it doesn't matter if you were counting. You did it. And now, people are watching. Everyone will learn from you, whether you like it or not." Ethan sighed. "I just hope they understand. Humans do things differently, yes, but we care. We fight when others hesitate. That's all I want them to see." Maya nodded. "I think they will. I think you've already started to change how they see humans. Even the council." Ethan looked out the window at the gas giant below. The storm swirled, dark and dangerous, but beautiful. He thought about the colony, the explosion, the civilians he had saved, and he thought about the future, how many times he might have to stand between life and death. How many people might look to him for guidance, courage, and hope. "I'll be ready," he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. Maya smiled. "I know you will, and you won't be alone." Ethan felt a small relief. At least he would not face this alone. Not completely. He had allies, even if they were few. And if humans had learned one thing over centuries of surviving harsh worlds, it was this: courage could be contagious. The chamber doors closed behind them. Outside, the station moved silently through orbit. The cadets would talk, the council would watch, and the galaxy would wait. But Ethan knew one thing. When humans acted, they acted fully. They did not hesitate. They did not falter. And sometimes, that was enough to change everything. He stepped forward, ready to face the next challenge. The next morning, the Academy's training hall buzzed with energy. Cadets moved in squads, practicing drills, simulations, and tactical exercises. Ethan walked down the wide corridor with Maya Green and Vale, the analytical alien cadet. Both had been assigned to his new squad. The hall was massive, with walls of glass showing the storms of the gas giant far below. Holographic targets and enemy projections floated in the air, ready for training exercises. Cadets from different species were paired in mixed squads. The Academy wanted to test new teaching methods, blending standard doctrine with improvisation. Captain Diana Ross, a human officer with years of experience in mixed squads, waited at the training platform. She was calm, confident, and her presence commanded respect. "Cadets," she said, "today you will work together. Your squad will face a simulated derelict station filled with hazards, enemy drones, and unstable environments. The goal is to reach the control room, secure the station, and protect any civilians inside." The cadets exchanged glances. Some looked nervous, others looked eager. Ethan felt a small thrill of anticipation. This was more than a simulation. It was a chance to show how humans could act differently. The squad assembled. Ethan, Maya, Vale, and 4 other cadets of various species. One was a reptilian named Kor, cautious and precise. Another was an aquatic cadet named Lyra, calm but hesitant under pressure. 2 others were insectoid, one with sharp claws and quick reflexes, the other smaller and more analytical. Captain Diana addressed the group. The key to success in this exercise is teamwork. Doctrine will help you, but adaptation and creativity will save you. Cadet Cole, she said, looking at Ethan. You will lead in tactical decisions when the situation is unstable. The others will follow your guidance, but do not forget standard procedure. Balance is essential. Ethan nodded. He felt the weight of responsibility, but also a sense of familiarity. He had faced impossible situations before. This was different. There would be no real danger, but it was a test of trust, skill, and strategy. The simulation started. The squad materialized inside the derelict station. Dark corridors stretched ahead, debris scattered on the floors, and the hum of damaged systems echoed through the halls. Sensors flashed, indicating enemy drones nearby. Move quietly, Ethan whispered. Kor hesitated. We should follow the manual. Slow and steady. Stick to standard paths. Ethan shook his head. Slow is death here. Improvise. Use the environment. The squad moved cautiously, but quickly. Ethan noticed a loose beam hanging above a corridor. Kor! Grab that. We'll use it to block the next drone. Kor's eyes widened, but he did as told. The beam fell perfectly, blocking a patrol drone and allowing the squad to move forward. Maya glanced at Ethan. This is risky, she whispered. Sometimes risk is the only way, Ethan replied. If we wait for the perfect moment, we will fail. The squad continued, facing obstacles and enemy projections. Ethan's decisions were fast and direct. He guided them through collapsing walkways, rerouted power conduits to create temporary shields, and used debris as cover. The other cadets began to trust his instincts, even if they worried about the danger. Lyra, the aquatic cadet, whispered, I never thought of using debris like that. Humans, you think differently. Ethan shrugged. We have to. On death worlds, you adapt or die. I learned to see opportunities where others see only danger. The squad reached a central chamber filled with malfunctioning machinery. Sensors indicated civilians trapped under rubble. Ethan signaled the team. Move quickly. Protect them first. Use the environment to our advantage. The cadets worked together, clearing debris, lifting consoles, and guiding the civilians to safety. Ethan's instructions were simple, clear, and direct. Maya helped translate his rapid commands into a form the alien cadets could follow. Vale observed, clicking softly, fascinated by Ethan's human logic and decision-making patterns. A sudden warning flashed. A corridor was about to collapse. Kor froze, unsure what to do. Ethan grabbed a metal panel and pushed it into place, blocking the falling debris just in time. The squad cheered quietly. Captain Diana's voice echoed in the simulation. Excellent adaptation. Remember, improvisation saves lives, but coordination is key. The squad advanced further. Enemy drones increased in number. Ethan quickly assessed the situation. 2 drones ahead. Trap the smaller one with debris. Distract the larger one with a loud noise. Move civilians behind cover. The plan worked perfectly. The drones were neutralized, and the civilians remained safe. Cadets began to see that Ethan's style, though different from standard doctrine, was effective. But not everyone agreed. Kor muttered angrily, We are playing with our lives. This is reckless. What if this were real? Ethan looked at him calmly. If this were real, hesitation would cost lives. Calculated risk is necessary. Do you want to survive or follow rules? Kor paused, realizing Ethan's point. The squad continued, learning to balance caution with improvisation. The final challenge appeared, a control room heavily guarded by enemy drones. The path was narrow, the floor damaged, and sensors indicated instability. The squad could either retreat and wait for backup or improvise a new approach. Ethan thought quickly. We can't wait. Civilians are counting on us. Vale, mark the unstable panels. Maya, create a diversion. Everyone else, follow me closely. The squad moved as one. Ethan led them across unstable flooring, jumping from panel to panel, using the environment as cover. Drones attacked, but the squad worked together. Every risk Ethan took was calculated, using his knowledge of physics and quick thinking. They reached the control room. Ethan signaled the team to secure it. The mission was a success. The simulation ended. Captain Diana appeared, smiling. Impressive. Cadet Cole, your methods are unorthodox, but they work. Cadets, you have seen how human improvisation can complement standard doctrine. This is how we prepare for the unexpected. The squad cheered quietly. Even Core nodded in respect. Lyra smiled, amazed at what they had accomplished. Vale clicked rapidly, recording every detail of Ethan's actions. After the simulation, the squad debriefed. Ethan explained each decision, why he acted quickly, and how improvisation could save lives. In the field, he said, situations change faster than doctrine can cover. You must adapt. Protect civilians first, survive second, and always think 3 steps ahead. And trust your instincts. Maya smiled. That is why humans survive where others fail. We can be reckless, yes, but we survive because we see possibilities others miss. Vale nodded. Fascinating. Your mind operates in layers. Immediate action, protection of others, and long-term consequence. Most Alliance species act in sequence. Humans combine all at once. Ethan shrugged. We don't have a choice. On death worlds, hesitation is death. You learn to act fast and smart. The squad spent the rest of the day training together, blending human improvisation with Alliance methods. They learned to communicate clearly, trust each other's instincts, and take risks when necessary. The cadets realized that doctrine alone was not enough in unpredictable situations. By evening, Ethan walked with Maya and Vale to the observation deck. The gas giant spun below, storms raging and lightning flashing across the clouds. The sight reminded Ethan of the colony he had saved months ago. I wonder, Maya said softly, how many frontier colonies will need humans like you in the future? Ethan looked out at the storms, thinking, probably many. Humans survive when others hesitate. That's what makes us useful. But it's dangerous. And not everyone understands that. Vale clicked softly. It is remarkable. You face impossible odds, yet you act decisively. I have never seen a cadet like you. Ethan shook his head. I'm not special. I just did what I had to. Anyone could do it with the right training. But yes, humans are different. We survive because we must, and we fight because we care. That is enough to change the outcome. Maya smiled. Then maybe you can teach others that. Not just humans, but everyone. Show them how to survive. How to act when everything seems lost. Ethan nodded slowly. Maybe. But first, we need to finish training. Learn the methods, the limits, the risks. Then, when the real crisis comes, we can act. The cadets stood silently, watching the swirling storms. The gas giant seemed alive, a reminder that the galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of surprises. And Ethan knew that soon, they would face challenges far greater than any simulation. The Alliance was stretched thin, enemies were growing stronger, and some worlds would be abandoned if humans did not step forward. But for now, the squad trained, learned, and adapted. They practiced improvisation, coordination, and courage. They saw that doctrine and human creativity could combine to create something stronger. Ethan felt a small thrill. He had survived impossible odds once. Now, he was preparing others to survive too. He knew the galaxy would test them soon, but for the first time, he felt ready. As the sun of the gas giant dipped below the horizon, the cadets returned to their quarters. Ethan walked slowly, thinking about what lay ahead. He knew danger awaited, but he also knew something else. Humans survived, adapted, and acted when others could not, and that made all the difference. He paused for a moment, looking out the observation deck again. The swirling clouds of the gas giant reflected his thoughts. Unpredictable, dangerous, but full of potential. "We'll be ready," he whispered to himself. "No matter what comes, we'll be ready." The night fell over the academy station. Lights glimmered in the corridors. Training halls were empty, and cadets rested for the next day. But the lessons of human improvisation, courage, and resilience were already spreading through the squad. And through them, slowly, through the academy itself. The galaxy was unpredictable, but humans were ready to face it.